Good morning, everyone. Today is November 29th, so we have class in a few minutes. Well, in a few hours for one, and in 1 hour for the other class. But anyway, so just to let you know, today meaning November 29 in class, in my two C++ programming classes, we're going to be playing a video to help you, a video I created just a few days ago, maybe even only yesterday, I don't remember now, but anyway, in the last week. And it's just going to help you with programming exam exercises 8-2 and 8-3, okay? Now today I'm doing, but I did not give as much as I sometimes give, okay? I'm not highlighting everything you've got to do over and over again in that video. And similarly, in the video I'm going to be doing right now, which is going to be my second, and that means my last chapter 8 programming example. This one is going to help you with programming exercise 8-4, but again, I'm not giving you as much as I normally do, and I'm just going to point out what I did to purposefully change that program up, and you have to then figure out how to put it back together. It's not difficult, but I'm not going to emphasize it over and over and over again. So this video should be no longer than 40 minutes, okay? And hopefully that will be the case. All right, so let's not show me anymore. Let's go to sharing my screen. Of course, while I'm sharing my screen, let me remind you, I'm going to not be in class on Thursday, which is 2 days from today. I'm not going to be in class on Thursday, December 1. You know that. I've sent you I posted a course announcement about this, and I also sent you an email about this yesterday, November 28th. Okay, I'll talk about it today in class 2, November 29th. But I think every one of you knows and remembers that I'm going to Montreal tomorrow, Wednesday, November 30th, with my wife, and we're going to watch our son Jared's graduation from the Royal Canadian Navy Leadership something school in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec. And obviously we're going up there for that. The horrible news, which I'm going to show in class today also, is that Montreal weather for tomorrow is abysmal. And it's not Montreal, it's the entire East Coast. We're in South Florida, as you guys are, and we're going to be flying, and probably before we even get out of the state, the winds are going to be whipping all the way up. Montreal's under I was going to say winter storm. They're not under a winter storm warning, but they're under a wind warning. I'll show this in class, but basically this, oh shoot, what happened to it? Dang. Why did it go away? Well, anyway, it's wind advisory, okay? I'll bring this back to, I don't know what happened to the text, but I don't want to play with it now. So anyway, I'm out of there. Okay, so let's get to it, because we have class literally, well, the first class is in 1 hour from now, because I always try to get there 3 minutes early. So I got to get this going. Oh, I didn't want to show you this yet, did I? Oh, well, I already, darn it. Let me verify that I'm sharing my screen. I am sharing my screen. Darn. Okay, so I'm already in MindTap. I'm in what I call my sandbox course for MindTap, where, what I show you guys, or what I do for you guys doesn't show up in the live class. Okay, so below is an example program for students to help them with programming exercise 8-4, posted to the programming exercise 8-4 in my COP1334. This is my sandbox course. Sandbox course means a play course. Okay, all right, but I want to read the instructions first, because this is what's important for you guys. So this is exactly what yours shows in class. So programming exercise 8-4. Write a program that reads a file. So that means it's a data file consisting of students' test scores in the range 0 through 200. It should then determine the number of students having scores in each of the following ranges. Okay, so from 0 through 24, how many students made a grade in that area? Well, this is all the scores down below. But it also has a data file. So here's the data file, okay? All these scores here, there are 20, whatever it said of them. I don't know if it said how many of them, but there's 20 anyway or more. Okay, so for 0 to 24 as an example, let's see how many got a 0 to 24. So no 0 through 12. So one person. So for sure there's one in here. Okay. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. 24, no. So one person will be the result. Okay, for 0 through 24. And the same with all these others. All right, so there's 0 through 24, 25 through 49, 50 through 74, 75 through 99, 100 through 124, 125 to 149, 150 to 174, and it does officially go to 200, so technically it's 201. So this one is 26 as a range, 175 through 200. All right. So that's the data file is chapter 8 _ ex4 data.txt. It's already here, meaning when you click on this programming exercise and you click to start, you're going to get the usual. You won't get this, but you're going to get the usual 3 or 4 lines of code just starting the file. But this is also there. So make sure you click it to make a note of, oh, okay, yeah, I need this file. This file is where the scores are. So I need to throw that into my C++ program. And I need to do it based on having 8 what I call ranges. Okay, ranges. So this first one would be range 0. This last one would be range 7. So that means there are 8 ranges from 0 through 7. And you just need to basically, as you're reading the files, put the score, not the score, but the count. In other words, if let's just pretend that on 25 through 49, 3 people, well, I'll just do it based on one I just did. 0 through 24, I just went through. There's one person that made it 12. So this person is a count of 1. So 0 through 24 with range 0, however you name your variables, should have a count of 1, not a count of 12 for the score. We want to know how many students, the number of students having scores in each of the ranges. So here there's 0. Let's just pretend here there's 2. There's 1, then maybe 2, then maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 5, maybe 8, maybe 6, whatever, just different ones. But that's all you have to do. So output the score ranges and the number of students. Run your program with the following input data. Well, this input data is right here. 76, 89, 150, 135, 200, 76, 12. 12 after 12. 100, 150, 28, 178, 189, 167. After 167, 200. There's still more on this one. This is based on the width of my screen, obviously. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So 175, 150, 87, and then 99, 129. I don't know why these are that way, but that's the way the data file is. Remember, they created this for us. And then after 129, 149, 149. Then we got to go this way again. 176. Then after that is 200 and then 87. So 287, 35, 157, 189. All right. So however many numbers that is, that's what you're going to be doing. And so we're going to be using an array, obviously, because it is chapter 8. But I did it 2 ways, but I'm only going to, I did this 2 ways because I wasn't sure, how much I should give you guys on this. So the one I'm showing you is the easy way. Very, very easy way to make this program work. But if anybody wants to see another way, maybe next week in class, I'll show that. But I'm not gonna. This is the last of my help files. Okay. All right. So main.cpp. First of all, let's again run the program. Oh wait, let me unmark it. Whoops, that so I can run it. So this was another way I did it a little bit more complicated way, with functions and things like that. All right. All right. So I'm going to move this over first so I can just run it. Okay. So run the program. So they want it, write a program that reads a file, consisting of students' test scores in the range 0 through 200. They wanted you to have 8 ranges. I, as you can see, did 4 ranges. Okay, so I have a range from 0 through 49. In that range, there were 3 students, 3 scores, in other words, fell within those 50 numbers. And then 6 students got scores in the 50 through 99 range. So the first one is a range of 50, second one's a range of 50. Next one, from 100 to 149, there were 4 in that range. Okay, and then the last one is 51. It goes from 150 to 200, and 13 students scored in that range. So 17, 23, so a total of 26 students. But I don't think they asked you for that. All right. So anyway, you create ranges, and the ranges are using an array, and I'll show it to you when I go back to my code. But in my case, I did 4. In your case, you do 8. So obviously, where I have done it my way, I'm not going to tell you how to fix it, not fix it, but alter it or adjust it to make it work for your 8 ranges. And then, of course, the counts will be way different. You know, maybe for 0 through 24, actually, we already saw there were 1. There was 1 because that was that number 12 score. Okay, so 1, which means from 25 through 49, there's 2, because here there's 3 from 0 to 49. Okay, and I'm not going to go again. But basically, the last one is 175 to 200 instead of 150 to 200. So that instead of 13, it may be, let's just say 5, maybe 7, whatever. Okay, anyway, that's the output. That's what you have to do output-wise to get 100. All right, now let's go through the program. All right, and this one is not going to be too long. All right, so again, I'm not showing you the second version of it. This is a version where I added what I would really code this, the way I would really code this for chapter 8. But this one does have an array. All right, so first of all, IOStream, we're good. IOmanip, we're good. Fstream, we've used a couple times in this class, but remember, it's a file stream, and we're reading text files. Could be a DAT file, a data file too, but a TXT file is a data file. So that's what we're using, and they gave this to us. I didn't create this right here. It was in the program. So when you click on Programming Exercise 8-4, you're always going to see your main.cpp, right? Where they give you just the pound include IOStream. They give you using namespace std. They give you int main with the open and closing curly, and maybe they give you the return 0. I forget, but otherwise it doesn't matter, right? But that's the same shell you've worked with for about 3 months now, really. Okay, so Fstream's a file stream. Okay, now in my main, and you notice I'm not using functions. In the one I did below it, the more complicated version, I have a couple functions. I got a read data function and a print function. Okay, but I'm not going to go into that. All right, so that. Okay, so in int main, you know, did my usual, the old-fashioned step 1 and 2. So declare my variables and assign values to the variables. So int score is going to account for the test scores. Well, where are the test scores? They're in my file stream, right? My file stream to turn it into a text file here, and each score will be based on these ranges. So int score to account for the test score, int range of 4. Okay, so if it's got a left bracket, right bracket, you know it's an array. And 4 does not mean 5. Remember, this 4 here means there are 4 ranges. So what are the ranges? Well, right now they're all 0. If you, and this was in the chapter for sure, if you have an open curly brace 0, closing curly brace, to the right of an equal sign when you have an int or a double or whatever you're doing in terms of a range with brackets, it just means initialize every one of these values to 0. So you don't need to say int range 0 equals 0, int range 1 equals 0, int range 2 equals 0. Just int range 4 with the open and closed brackets is saying we're having an array of 4 ranges. We are initializing all of them with 0. Okay, so it just makes it quicker. All right, and I put what the ranges are in mind, right? So 0 to 49, 50 through 99, 100 through 149, and then the last one having one more from 150 to 200. But it doesn't matter what it's got as long as you account for your ranges, okay? All right, so range is the array. Score is going to, of course, be used with the array. Now, of course, we're going to do that in a loop. All right, so then when you have a file stream, the F stream, you need to declare, the variable for it. IF is input file, remember? So IF stream in file. So now I'm calling this file in file. Same way I called it in chapter 3 or 4 when I did it the first time. And then I believe I did it one other time in chapter 5 or 6, but don't remember. But either way, so this is IF stream is what you have for input file stream as the default name, and we're declaring it with a variable in file. Okay, so in file is now our file stream. You always have to open your in file before you can use it. So in file dot open, excuse me, open and close curly brace with the argument in between. It's got double quotes because it's a string, right? We're opening this file. So we're opening this text file. And then the next one, my calculations. In this case, of course, there are no calculations per se. All I'm doing is taking the score count from all the scores that are being read from these numbers here. No, sorry, not these numbers down here, right? All of these numbers, I forget what I said on it, but when I ran it, there were 13, 17, 20, there's 26 total scores, right? And on these scores, we need to account for them in these 4 ranges, okay? All right, so in file is my in file stream variable. And then I'm opening in file, so in file dot open. You put the name of the file, exactly what you see that they did. It's their file, they gave it to us, okay? So when you're looking for this, don't say, oh my God, I don't have the data file, the text file. It is, just look in your code area, your main.cpp code area, and to the left of it, there'll be a ribbon, or perhaps the right of it, there'll be a ribbon with the ch_ex4 data.txt. That's exactly the name they used, okay? All right, so then, while in file, greater score. Now remember, this greater is not greater like greater equal, right? Remember on C input, you have greater, and then the C input variable name. Well, here, the in file is a data file. So in this case, it's this text file, and the value we're taking is score. And score is not representing the numeric score. It's going to be used to check the range of the score, okay? And then to assign the range based upon where it needs to be in the array, okay? So while there are scores is what this means. In other words, while the loop has something to read, and it's got the greater so that you understand the variable score is going through. It's looping through those 26 student scores, okay? All right, so then it's just a simple if statement. If score greater equal 150. Why greater equal 150? Why not greater equal 0? I believe I talked about this when we talked about loops, but I don't remember now. But either way, you have to come up with your ranges. You always should put, okay, which range is toughest to get if you do it the way I do it, okay? A lot of people would just use if statements. You don't necessarily need like if and then else if, and you can also have an else, of course, for if there's bad data. But so if you'd prefer, you can have just a simple if statement, your if statements. If you don't do it the way I do, though, you need to have a low range and a high range within each range, right? But if you do it the way I do it, what you're doing is, this is the toughest. The toughest for my 4 ranges is a score greater than or equal 150. Well, I don't have to worry about 201 or 202 because there's no scores in that range. Now, I could have put, again, an else at the end, though, to say invalid input or score no good, right? I didn't do that because I know the numbers here will work for what I've done. So if score greater or equal 150, so there's 4 ranges. So 0, 1, 2, or 3. Well, if you're dividing this into the range, and I'm saying greater or equal 150 is basically the top range, so that means range 3 plus plus. What's plus plus? Remember, it's an incrementing. You're just incrementing a counter. So the counter right now is 0 because we have our range here 4. 4 means 0, 1, 2, 3, all initialized to 0. So this one here is going to put it in the the 4th range, which is the high one, 0, 1, 2, 3, because the score is at least 150, okay? If it's not that one, is it greater than or equal to the next highest range, 100? If it is, that's range 2, which really means range 3, because I got 0 to 49, 50 to 99, 100 to 149, 150 to 200, okay? And then down here for score greater or equal 50, and finally score greater or equal 0, okay? So that's all I'm going to say on it, right, this time. Okay, then my usual format and display results. Now, I did put an IO manip here. I didn't mention it, but because you know IO manip now, even though we don't use it that much. So I have an IO manip though, and of course I put to allow set W. So if I want to format my output so that it's sort of, you see I'm on the right side of the screen now, my output window here, my terminal window. I've got range and then the values underneath it. And then there's a bit of a gap and then number of students and the number of students in each range. I did that just by playing with set W's, right? In some cases, set W 7, which just means allow 7 characters for this word range with the colon. In other words, then there's one space at the end, okay? Excuse me. Then for my range 0, which is the first one, I then put another set W here to the right. Let me move this over a little bit, okay? So this set W for 15. So basically, if you move one space after the colon, that's allowing for the 7. And then after that, if you just count up, you'll get the 15. And this is more or less the entire range from there to there for 15, okay? And then I put underneath that, I want to make sure, though, that the actual number of students is also listed. So I've got my variables here. I'm not variables, my set width ranges here. Set W, remember the W means width. So the set W's here just to make it work a little bit easier with these numbers. So I made the range bigger for the 0 through 49 and bigger for the 50 through 99 because I don't need any spaces here, but I want them to be equal to the others. So you just do that by having a higher number of set W's. You play, in other words, okay? And then for the last couple, I put this here. Again, I'm going to show you this here. And then after that, we close the data file after we finish outputting our information, okay? Then we close the file. Now, let me run it again, okay? So you can kind of see what's happening. So in our data file, okay, which is opened from the code here. Anyway, on it, let me look at to show you where we open it. So we open the file, right? That's all we've done thus far. Once we open the file, then we have to process the file. You process all data files with a loop. So it can be a for loop, it could be a while loop, it could be a do while loop, but it has to be a loop so that you're accounting for what's there. And that means you need to have in your expression, you need to put something, some values that are true or false. So in file, remember, is this file. In file.open is this. So chapter 8 _ ex4 data.txt, that's the in file. What's in that in file? There are 26 scores in here. Don't worry about spacing. Spacing does not matter. Okay. But again, I took the file the way I got it. But you can change it up actually and probably make it as even as you want in terms of values for each one. It doesn't matter. Okay. But they gave us the file as the point. All right. So we're processing the file, and our while statement means this is, so there are scores here. While there is something in file, assign it to score. Right. And again, greater means like it's your input from the user. C out versus C in. But in this case, the C input from the user is from a data file. But understand the greater here is because we're using this, the word after the greater as our input device. So in this case, it's not a C input going to a particular variable, but it is this variable, which happens to be a variable integer, and that ties in with the variable for the range here, but that's not what happens here. What we're doing here is looking for our values. When we have range here and range in number 3 here, we're only incrementing a count. We're not actually capturing the values. Could I have captured the scores? Meaning there were 3 students from 0 through 49 with scores, and then put those 3 scores? Of course I could, right? But we didn't need to. They said it should then determine the number of students having scores in each of the ranges. It didn't say to output the scores. It said output the ranges and the number of students. That's all it's asking us to do. So I then put the range, meaning the array, to pick up, increment the count. That's what this is really, just called a counter, okay? But I've got it obviously in an array here. So increment the counter when the score is higher than this. So we're in our loop here, the if part of the loop, while there are scores. And when it gets to that last score, then I've got range 3 with a total. I've got range 2 with a total, range 1 with a total, and range 0 with a total. So then I just output my results. Format and display the results, okay? Now, I want you guys to get to copy this file. So let me do this, make it appear. Oh, why is that thing here this time not going wide enough? Let me go ahead and just make this a / and then I'll say after with ProgExer there. And now I'll put another comment for that. And then sandbox, and I can get course down here just to make it easier to see. So that's all good there. That's all good there. That's all good there. But down here, so this is obviously a comment. So range of 50, I guess we can take the values part, enter, / again. Okay, that. So that's all good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now down here, my comment going way over again. So I'll say after in, I'll say in this case after the word in, and then make it a new line, a new comment line. All right, and then that. I think I probably should have values down there too, but that's probably, now let me do it that way, / and delete. Okay. And in, I probably should have, but I'm not going to worry about that. So then down here, same thing. So to help format, I'll say to help. And just in case there's something to the right, / again. And then here, my end L doesn't have to be there. That can be there. So that's probably okay, but let me just pull it in another notch. So that's okay. That's okay. And then this is another one. You're not going to be doing this one. Okay, so I'll just go down here, go down here, go down here, go down here. It doesn't matter. Oh, that's why that's going way over, because down below I have a lot of other junk. I mean, meaning it's pushing it over. Anyway, all right. So here from line 1 through line 21, please take a picture if you want it. Okay. I said line 21. Why have I got line 22? Oh, well. All right. Call it line 21 anyway, and then I'll show 22 in the next. Okay. So 10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Okay. So that one is done. So now let's go down to 22. So 22 is here, and I'm not using anything after. Actually, this works out good. So from 22 down to 41 is the end of this. So, and you might say, Professor, you didn't put comments next to range 1 and range 0. Well, it's the same thing, right? First one's the top range, next second range, next is the third highest range, meaning the second lowest range, and then the last one, obviously the lowest, okay? Anyway, so do that picture, 15 seconds. Okay. All right, 5 more seconds. And you don't need to do the set W either. They didn't ask for anything to be aligned in a particular fashion. Okay. All right, so now let me just make sure that under that, yeah, there's nothing there. This is just the next version of that, which I'm not going to talk about. Okay. All right, so that's how easy it is. It's really easy if you do it that way. All right, have a great day. I'm going to have this video. This video here is going to be, you're going to be having access to sometime on the 29th or the 30th. And it'll be what I'm saying we would be doing in class on Thursday, December 1. But remember, no class Thursday, December 1. All right, but you guys have plenty of work to do. Have a great day. Let me stop my recording.